Hi, I'm Nina Yosefian and I wanted to show you a dessert I make during Lent when it's our Sunday school's turn to host a Lenten dinner. It's a completely vegan, Lenten friendly dish. And what I always thought was my Greek girlfriend's recipe for the Greek Halva, when I presented it to our Armenian church, everybody knew it as another name called Mamoonea. But I don't know it as Mamoonea, I call it the Greek Halva. So we're going to put it together. It's probably a dish you can make because you already have the ingredients. And what I really like about this dish, if you don't bake, it doesn't get baked, it gets cooked. So I'm going to start by just heating up my pan. And I have 1 cup of either canola oil or grapeseed oil, and once that gets hot, I will add my 2 cups of farina. I will let that cook until it gets a little hot. Then I will add my 4 cups of water and my 3 cups of sugar, and I have half a cup of almonds that I toasted and I ground to somewhat of a fine consistency. Now the original recipe really stops here. This is the Greek Halva, but I tweaked it a little bit over the years, and if you don't have these ingredients, you don't have to buy it. It's completely optional. It just adds another level of flavor. And I have about a tablespoon of orange blossom water, a tablespoon of rose water, and a pinch of saffron. If you don't have it, you don't have to add it. Don't go out and buy it. Otherwise, you probably have these ingredients in your house. So my oil should be heated, and I will add my farina, 2 cups.
3, 2, go.
And my Greek friend said, don't let it get too brown. Just let it get hot. Okay, so you don't want this to get too brown. Just the ever so slightly lightly toasted phase. Okay, so now that everything is at the phase I wanted, the semolina has been heating up with the hot grapeseed or canola oil for a couple minutes. Now I just add everything else. And measure your 4 cups of water ahead of time, because I think last time I couldn't remember if I did 3 or 4 because I was using a 1 cup measurer. So get some use out of my 4 cup measure. I don't use it very often. So just give this a stir. And the recipe is for 3 cups of sugar. If you make it and you think it's too sweet at 3 cups, cut it back to, it'll come to a boil. And the last thing I'm going to do is add my half a cup of kind of finely grounded almonds. But at this point, I'm going to add my saffron and my rose water and orange blossom water, because I want the saffron to infuse. I want it to open up. I want it to boil with the water. I want it to flavor the water. And I want a pretty color when I'm all done. Okay. So when I made this dish, I made it at least 4 or 5 years ago for our church's Lenten dinner. And I don't remember anybody saying anything. I don't know. Nobody said anything. But I made it last year, and I think it was the way I presented it or something that people knew what it was. And everybody knew exactly what it was, especially all the Armenians from Turkey and Lebanon. They couldn't wait to have it, and I wished I made 2 because we had a huge crowd after Lenten services and there wasn't enough for half the people. So I'm going to increase the heat because I want this to boil. And what else I wanted to show you is the molds I'll put it in. And this really made for the pretty presentation. So what makes for a pretty presentation with this, if you're going to serve it as a dessert, is to pour it in your Jello mold. It'll fill up this and about half of this, and then I will refrigerate it for at the most, probably 2 days. And if you don't have the pistachios, don't worry about it. I just always happen to have pistachios, so I just poured a couple tablespoons on the bottom, so when it gets inverted, it's pretty. The pistachios are. And my mixture is boiling. I don't want it to boil a lot. The semolina will absorb all the moisture and will thicken. So at this point, I'm going to put the lid on. I just want to make sure there's not a big clump at the bottom, and there isn't. So at this point, I'll put the lid on, take it off the flame, and I will let it sit for about 15-20 minutes because I really can't pour my hot, sweet farina mixture into a plastic jello mold. So we'll come back in 20 minutes and it'll solidify pretty much, and we'll pour it in. Oh, and goodness, look what I forgot. Almost forgot my ½ a cup of finely ground roasted toasted almonds. That would have been sad because a lot of flavor comes from the almonds. Okay, that should be good. And I'll just take it off the flame and we'll come back in 20 minutes. So it's been some ½ hour. I let the pot sit with the lid on, off the flame, and my semolina, I used farina, is cooked. It absorbed all the liquids. And I just want my cameraman to have a little tasty. How is it? So, it's ready to pour in the mold. And when I put this all together, if all goes well, I will invert it, slice it in a nice big circle. And then whatever's left here will go in the middle of my big platter. And then I put strawberries in between. So it's very, very pretty. Okay. I can add a little more, I think, to this one. I'll spread it. And I don't really want a lot in this one. This is just going to go in the middle. And I'm going to see where everything comes to play. And then I'm just going to push this down, kind of see how much I have. Okay, so that's pretty much how much I would want in that top. I really can't fit anymore. The rest will go in the smaller one. And see, it's a no-bake dessert. So if you don't bake, I'm hoping you're watching this. If you have friends that promise up and down, I can't bake, show them this dessert. And hopefully you'll have some Middle Eastern friends from Lebanon, from Syria, from Iraq, Turkey. Am I forgetting a country? You can surprise them with this, and you didn't have to bake. So I'm just going to pat that down with a spoon. And it kind of works out perfectly. It comes up to the pretty part of the mold. Again, I'm just patting this down. Okay, so I patted this down. And it'll get a lid. And it burps. And then this will just go in the refrigerator now. And it is this perfect amount. And that's it. When we come back, we're gonna put it all together. Thanks! Okay, now I get to show how I would present my Greek halva. So it refrigerated 2 days. I think it really needs the 2 days to set. So now, with my mold, I take out the middle, and it looks like that. So now, I'm going to just slice it up, and it's going to slice up just like a cake. And then I'm just going to put it around in a big circle. And this should give you, by the time I'm all done, you should be able to serve 30 people with this. God bless you, Paul. Okay, so now this is for my center. Oh, came out equally as beautiful. And I'm just gonna slice this for whoever wants maybe a small piece. Oh, and I forgot to mention that farina, semolina, is the same thing as cream of wheat. That's why I said you probably have all these ingredients in your house. You don't need the rose water, orange blossom water. You don't even need the nuts. So this is basically cream of wheat, sugar, oil, and water, and almonds. Okay, and now I'm just going to put my strawberries around it. And what's great about this dessert, if it's the summertime and you don't want to heat up your oven baking a cake, this is what you serve. And just for some extra color, I'm going to put blueberries. And even though I have some green from the strawberries, I'm just going to put a couple sprigs of mint because there's just something really yummy about berries and mint. And I think that's pretty much it. Now I might cut my strawberries in half just to get them on the edge because I want to use up all my strawberries. Okay, so it just took a minute to finish my presentation. I had a strawberry has a bit of a bruise. So, and that's my, oh, I don't want this silly stem. And that's it. That's it. I think I might make my strawberry prettier. I'll try and make it a rose. A strawberry rose of sorts. All right, everybody, that's my Greek halva.